Hello and welcome back to Build and Teach. In this tutorial we are going to be learning about list comprehensions. So what are list comprehensions? So list comprehensions are used to create new lists from existing lists or strings or other iterables. They are an elegant and concise way to define and create lists based on existing lists or strings or other iterables. And they're an alternative to using for loops and lambda functions, which we'll learn in a future section. Now the syntax of a list comprehension is as follows. So first is the output expression, right? So that's the expression that you want to act on your list. Then you define the kind of like the for loop within your list comprehension. And then finally there's a conditional filter which you can have, which is an optional filter which you can have. So let's go into an example. It's easier to understand. Let's say you want to add 5 to all of the elements in a list. So here I'm creating an empty list, new nums, and an existing list, nums. So nums has numbers 0 to 10, and I want to add 5 to each one of these values and populate the new nums list. So I'm creating a new nums list off of this list, and I'm adding 5 to each of the element. So the first way to do it would be a for loop, right? So here I have for x in nums, right? New nums dot append x plus 5, and then I'm going to print the new nums list. And as you can see here, each one of the elements in the original list now has plus 5. But notice that this required a couple of lines of code here. And in Python, usually it's better to keep your code in one line, in a very elegant single line of code. And you can see that you can do that using a list comprehension. So with the exception of the print, right? I have here the one line of code. So here I'm defining the new nums. So the output of this list comprehension will be the new nums, not empty, it'll be populated, the new nums list. I have my expression, right? My output expression, and then I have my for loop within. So x plus 5 for x in nums. So if I print this out, right, you can see that it does exactly the same thing. It takes the nums original list and it adds 5 to all of them, and it populates the new nums list. As you can see, a little bit easier to read, a little bit more elegant way to do things, and it also does perform better. So it is a little bit faster than the for loop. You can also have a list comprehension with a filter. So in here, what I'm doing is I have, again, my original list of nums. I have my list comprehension where I have my new nums equals my output expression, my for loop, and then I have if x mod 2 equals 0. So what I'm looking for here, x mod 2 equals 0, if you remember from the math section, this is looking for even numbers, right? So if I run this, it will output only it will add 5 to only the even numbers within my original list, right? So so the 0 is considered even, the 2 plus 5, the 4 plus 5, the 6 plus 5, etc. As you can see, it only filtered and it only added 2 to the even numbers in the list, and it excluded, because it's a filter, it excluded all of the odd numbers in the list. You can see that this new nums list even has less values than the original list. So pretty powerful, and a much more elegant way to apply functions to a list. Now we're going to be going over lambda functions next, so you can see another way of doing it instead of using the traditional for loop to do things. So give that a try, and as usual, the text instructions are at the end of the video. Thank you.